Alrighty, guys. Done with our super sugar drink that also has caffeine. No, I don't do that. Anyways, well, today, guys, I want to talk about PTSD and signs that you got PTSD, which, a lot of people, PTSD is something that, you might have if you were in the military and you were deployed and, your buddy got killed or something like that. But I think something that's kind of misunderstood about PTSD, especially complex PTSD, is that you don't need to be in combat to have PTSD. You could be raised by parents that basically didn't pay you any attention and blamed you for everything and made you the problem and the scapegoat in the family the whole time, and abused you physically, and also you can have PTSD from sexual abuse as well, because the thing is, I think a lot of people don't understand this, but if you're in combat, you're in a position where you're not really fully in control of what's going on, because the enemy always gets a vote. So, you might have a rocket randomly blow up your friend, and, that's not something you can control. You can't control that your buddy got blown up. And then of course also when you're in combat, you're in survival mode, right? That's all your body's thinking about, that's all your brain's thinking about, is how am I going to survive this, right? And so if you go through physical abuse, sexual trauma, or family trauma, or you grow up in a family where it was just non-stop back and forth, and you just you never knew where your parents stood, you never knew when you're going to get yelled at, or when you're going to get praise, you never got attention that you should have got when you were an 8-year-old. That also puts you in survival mode, and that's definitely something that I've dealt with for basically my entire life, and I didn't realize that that's even a thing until as of recently, after I got divorced from a narcissist, and I realized, holy crap, I got CPTSD, complex PTSD, and a couple signs that were pretty apparent to me, and the psychologist that diagnosed me, was my sleep patterns. Surprisingly, I always thought, I'm just a light sleeper. When somebody wakes up and they have an issue, that's just how it works. I just wake up and I just have a problem, of sleeping, because I'm just a light sleeper. And they're like, no, that's actually not normal, and you're not supposed to wake up at a mouse making noise. Like, that's not normal. You're supposed to be able to sleep through the night. And then, like, for me, waking up in the middle of the night because my brain's going 5 miles, an hour, or 100 miles an hour, and that's all I can think about is, whatever current trauma thing that I'm, having a rumination about. And then, on top of that, then I've got all these other issues where, I can't get to bed, I can't sleep. It takes me like an hour just to try to fall asleep. And, and I'm not on my phone, I'm not scrolling, and stupid crap like that. Like, I'm legitimately trying to sleep, but it takes me like an hour to just fall asleep. And I have to fall asleep to like rain noises or like white noise, because I'm just not able to fall asleep otherwise, because I need something that's making noise so that my brain can kind of attach to that and be like, oh, okay, this is normal, we can go to sleep now. And then on top of that, waking up early. There's so many times where I wake up at like 5 a.m. and I'm just like, why am I up right now? And it's because, well, I don't want to be asleep because I'm ruminating about stuff, and so my brain just is like, hey, nope, you're gonna wake up at 5 a.m. and you're gonna continue thinking about these problems. A strategy I've found that kind of helps me, at least with the sleeping things, is, well, actually two strategies. One I already mentioned, which was sleeping with like white noise or like rain sounds or something. I found that definitely helps me fall asleep easier and stay asleep longer. The only problem is, my brain gets dependent on that. So occasionally, my rain sounds will like just quit, and like I'll wake up in an instant, like the minute those sounds go away, my brain's up and I'm just like, holy shit, I can't sleep. So that's freaking wild. But another thing I've found that helps me is going to the gym before I go to sleep. I've found that really helps me sleep as well, because I can kind of not necessarily get out that rage, but I can get that physical need to like do something, and I can get that out of the way before I before I go to sleep. And so as a result of that, I'm able to sleep better because I've already got that physical interaction out, that physical need to move. I know that there's like maybe some studies and stuff done on that that's like, hey, you're not supposed to work out before you go to bed for whatever reasons. I'm sure there's some good reasons, but for me, it seems to work out pretty good because I work out and then I come home and I go to bed, and my body's already kind of tired at the fact that I've been working out. And so as a result of that, I'm able to relax a little bit more because my body's already been working out, and so I don't really have as much of an issue. And there are some things that you don't want to do when you have PTSD, which is don't eat a shit ton of garbage. That's never good for you, I'll tell you that right now. And seeing all these fast food places popping up around here, I definitely see that a lot. People that are overweight, that's usually a sign that they were sexually abused. I mean, of course, it's just one sign. It doesn't mean that they were sexually abused just because they're overweight. But, I mean, a lot of people that were overweight maybe aren't necessarily sexually abused, but it's one of those signs that you have PTSD because of the fact that you're overeating because you are trying to fill that hole and you're trying to get those endorphins. And, at least you're not doing drugs, right? Drugs are bad, but overeating's also bad. So, everybody's got their thing that they want to do to try to fill that hole rather than face the fact that they have trauma that they haven't dealt with. And, and you gotta deal with your trauma in a healthy way rather than an unhealthy way. And that's brings me to my last point here, which is the last thing that helps me out immensely with my PTSD is writing my book, or focusing on something that's productive, like editing my videos or something like that. Because one, I'm doing something productive. Two, I'm thinking about what I'm doing, which is creating a book or creating a story arc or doing something that has to do with my videos. And so my whole brain is focused on that, and so now I'm not able to ruminate about the problems of my life, or the things with my ex-wife or whatever. Like, my brain doesn't really ruminate about that because I'm thinking about what I'm doing, which is editing my videos. And so it turns out that's actually a whole lot better for me, and helps me sleep, as a matter of fact. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. I almost feel like you guys are my therapist, so I should probably pay you. And yeah, so like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Tell me something you might want to hear me talk about. I guess I'm always up for ideas. And thanks for watching, guys.